everyone, and welcome to the Trendy Teen Talk Show. I am your host, Trendy Davis, and today I have incredible teens and youth with me that are doing inspiring things. I would like to start with my right and have you introduce yourself. What is your name?
My name is Miriam Cabal. I'm 17 and I'm a senior. And
my name is Sarah Cabal. I'm 17 as well. I'm a senior at Windsor High School.
Nice.
My name is Justina Gilbert, and I'm a senior at Connecticut International Baccalaureate Academy, and I'm 18.
My name is Donovan Dorsey, and I am working, and I'm 19 years old.
Okay, well, all these youth or teens here, they're not new youth no more, they're teens. But all of them have had the opportunity to actually be honored and winning the YSP Youth Awards for 2017 and 2018. Would you like to share what you won your award in?
So we won our award in the group category for entrepreneurial success. So we talked about our passion of hopefully one day to open up and sell and be business owners to a cupcake business.
Nice. And what did you win yours last year in 2018 for?
I won mine on leadership because I own my own nonprofit organization and I mentor young women and young men as well in the greater Hartford area.
Nice. And what about you, Donovan?
The entrepreneurship, that's how you said it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I won that for my sneaker business that I started back in 2013, my freshman year of high school.
Nice. So today's topic actually is about teens doing inspiring things. And so therefore you can understand why I have these teens here, because they are doing inspiring things. So I would like to talk about the things that you are doing and how you got started, how you got your ideas to get started, and, you know, take it from there. So let's take it from you, Donovan. You said that you're an entrepreneur, and what do you do again?
I design or customize and restore sneakers.
Okay. So what got you started in that?
So way back, when I was young.
Like way back in the day?
So I was a freshman in high school. I came into school every day with like the same pair of shoes, like Converse. I had the low tops, I had the high tops. The red pair was always my favorite. So then every time at the lunch tables, all my friends, or you know how we crack jokes on each other. So everyone, no matter how bad I get somebody, always brought up my shoes. So it was like, oh, that's why you wear those every day. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm tired of that. So then actually me and my friend, we put our money together because we always watch like sneakers videos on either reviews, how to clean them, how to paint them. So then I was like, if they could do that, like I could do that too.
Okay.
So we actually invested in a starter kit for with paints and a cleaner. So then I was going around school telling people, oh, I customize shoes, I do this, and then I was getting enough money where everyone that was actually coming by and coming to me to get the shoes done, because at the time, like Jordans were huge.
Right.
So then I just made enough money where I came to school with a new pair of shoes every day. So that was my motivation.
And they couldn't talk
Never
about
said
your
anything
red
about my
Converse
shoes again.
No more.
Nope, to this day.
Matter of fact, they run into you for you to design their shoes.
Exactly.
Wow, that's incredible. So that takes art. So you have that artistic ability in you then.
So another thing, like me growing up, I was always drawing. Like I still have it, like big old drawing books filled with me just drawing. Or I remember in elementary school, I always had to have like a separate sheet of paper while I was doing work, because on the side, like I always doodle on the side of the paper, so then I'd have to draw on the whole other side of the paper. So.
And see, teachers that get on kids about doodling and thinking that they're not paying attention, look where it led you. You know, that could be somebody's career right there. That's great artwork, and it starts somewhere, and for you, it started as doodling.
It did. It really did. Wow.
Yeah. So I think it was last year when you was being nominated for the YSP Youth Award. You also, I seen a video of you doing something that I really thought was so inspiring that it actually touched my heart. And what this young man did was, there was a female student that had Down syndrome that goes to his high school. And was it in a gym that you went into?
Yeah.
And you gave her flowers?
I gave her a yellow rose.
And
with,
you asked her
my
to go to
poster.
prom. And he asked her to go to prom.
Yeah.
And it was just so amazing. You know, so at the time, I was like, okay, well, he fits two categories, the humanitarian and also the entrepreneurship. But whatever the judge voted on, that's what he got. But I really felt that was very inspiring. So that tells me that you have a really kind, loving, caring heart.
That feels good. So
That
actually,
feels good.
it
No one
does.
ever told you that. Well, I'm telling you that.
Thank
Okay,
you,
you
thank
do.
you.
You really do.
So actually, it was 6th grade when I first met her. We went to
Oh.
the same middle
Oh,
school
so
together.
you've known her for
Yeah.
years.
So
Nice.
then throughout the high school, freshman year, I got closer with her because that's when I started unified sports. So that's when during the basketball games, we'd always give each other a high five. Our
Right.
handshake is like a little like that, and then we clap at the end. So then every time I see her, that's what we do. And then my senior year, that's when we had that gym class together, unified PE. So then she was always dancing in that class, and now I'd always be dancing with her. So then I know, like at the time, it was like prom was coming down. I had to ask somebody or go with somebody.
You didn't have a girlfriend?
Nah,
Oh.
I never did until like recently. But that's a whole nother story.
Okay.
But
No, we don't want to dive
single.
into that.
But anyways.
Okay, but I think it's good that you asked her though.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Like I knew she would appreciate it more than if I would have asked anyone else. So
Right.
I know she'd enjoy it. So then it was so many like when I asked her, honestly, it blew up more than I thought it would be because I posted it from like my
That I think went
family.
viral, didn't it?
It did,
went viral.
and then I had the interview on the news as well. It was
Because
cool. It
you
was-
don't see that type of
Love,
behavior and love given,
Yeah.
you know, to someone that has special needs, period.
Exactly.
And I bet she was so grateful and so happy, and you
She
just made
was.
her life that night.
She was
I bet
so
remembers
happy.
it to this day.
She will always
I
remember
still keep
it.
in contact with her actually.
Good, you have a
Yeah.
good relationship. Great, so you
Yeah.
can keep the relationship going. That's nice.
That's good.
And then like the first thing, it was JT Gama. They reached out to me. It was like, hey, we really want to get you like a tux for prom, so you could. And then I had another teacher, Miss Bell. She got me the limo. The mayor actually paid for my prom tickets. No, not my prom tickets. My prom photos.
Right.
And then not the superintendent. It was the principal. Paid for my prom tickets. So then.
Did they reach out and get her a nice prom dress?
Yes. No,
See?
her mom already had the dress for her. And
Okay.
then she was beautiful that night. That was nice. I
Isn't
love
that
seeing her.
special?
Yeah.
And it's special how your school rallied around you in the
Yeah.
community. So that was really awesome. I really commend you for that. And this is the things that the viewers, people, youth, educators, parents, just people in the community need to know about who you are as a person and the great things that you're doing. So now that brings me to you, Miss Justina.
Me?
Tell me a little bit about yourself. What is it that you're actually doing again?
So I founded my own organization called I Shall Not Be Afraid, and we essentially try to mentor and instill in kids that not to be afraid to go after your dreams, not to be afraid to be who you are, not be afraid to be a humanitarian, not be afraid to ask somebody to prom, not be afraid to just be essentially who you are.
Right.
But we also do give back to the community a lot. We did go bags for True Colors. We did a lot with the YMCA. We mentor a lot of kids at the YMCA. We do an adopt a family every year, and we give gifts to the kids during like the Christmas season. So people donate gifts, food. Santa definitely comes and surprises the kids. And that's essentially where we build our community. So we're based off of community. It takes a village to raise a child.
It sure does.
And raising me, my mom's a single mom. So coming up, I had a lot of mentors in my life. Essentially, they might not have been family, they might not have been blood related, but there have been a lot of mentors in my life that have impacted me and made me the person I am today. So I Shall Not Be Afraid is based off of community, based off of a village, based off of love, based off of peace. So the Adopt a Family is pretty much our bookmark of our foundation, and that pretty much essentially builds our community. So we try to tell parents, if you need me to babysit your kids, if you need to be tutored, if you need to be driven to work, if you need anything, my organization and I am here. And
So-
essentially the women and men around me are here for you as well.
Nice. So how old are you again?
18.
18. And when you started this?
I started the organization when I was 8 because
8 years old. Incredible.
yeah, but I mean, we really started up recently. I want to say like 4 years ago, only because at 8 years old I still wanted to be a kid, but I still always gave back to the community. But I started the organization because I was afraid to be who I was. You know what I mean? I've always been outspoken. I've always been an activist. I've always been about Black power and equality and unity. But I was always afraid to kind of like speak about it.
Right.
Because if anything, I was majority of the time the only Black girl in the room. And coming from like a biracial family as well, it's kind of hard to, I don't want to say choose sides,
Right.
but it's, sometimes hard to be biracial, and then it's sometimes hard to just be essentially Black. So I was afraid to be who I was, but I wanted other kids around me to know that, I was once you. I was once somebody afraid not to speak up, once somebody not to be recognized for my high honors and my academics and my voice and my eloquent speaking.
And just to accept you for who you are.
Definitely. Just don't be afraid to live in your shell. You don't need to live in anybody else's. So.
Perfect. Now, I just think it's incredible that at 8 years old that you actually dreamed up the concept of this, because whether y'all realize it or not, things that you do come from you when you're younger, because as kids you always imagining, you always dreaming and things of that. So it's nice to know as a kid you was doodling and that became part of your life. It's nice to know that at 8 years old you went through these feelings and experience and wanted to somehow bring something to life so that it can show others that they can be who they are and walk in their truth and be who they are as well.
Definitely.
Now, how many, do you have volunteers? How does that go?
I like to say that my mom is my momager, but she's also definitely always around as well. So, and I have a lot of mentors in my life. So a lot of my mentors are always my volunteers. Definitely, I love to get kids involved. I want kids more to be involved in the organization. I love kids. But my mom will always laugh at me and say, but you say you don't want kids. I was like, I don't, but I love kids. But
it's different because they go home, right?
Yeah, they definitely go home. But no, my mom is pretty much always my number one volunteer. She's always there saying, what do we want to do next? What do you need help with? So I say personally, like, I do love other people to be involved, but as long as I have my mom, I know things will always get done.
Okay, because you do so many things in the community and with youth, that's why I was asking. So do you have like numbers? Like, do you know?
No, everything I do, I usually do it on my own.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
You're a hard-working young woman.
Definitely, but I do want to say that the YMCA, the Wilson Gray YMCA, definitely helps me a lot and helps me get a platform, list of kids that need help, list of kids that need to be mentored. The Aurora Foundation, it's based on women philanthropy, and they definitely give me platform support. If I need help, the Wadsworth downtown.
Anthony.
Yes, Debbie Gaudette, she's definitely a person who has helped me do a lot with my organization. Thea Montanez. So I would say that I do have numbers, but I just wanted to pretty much say like my mom is my number one volunteer.
Nice. And that brings me now to you two ladies.
Okay.
Sarah and Miriam. Tell us about what it is that you actually doing.
So I think I'll get us started off.
Okay.
So basically what we do is we are entrepreneurs. We started our own cupcake business at 11 years old.
Wow.
And it was obviously a challenge because, people would tell us you're too young. You're not experienced. You don't have that background. But I'm here to tell you that you're never too young. If you have a dream, if you have a passion, if you believe in something, it will come to fruition with hard work, with dedication. Now, that doesn't mean that it's going to be easy. It's going to be a walk in the park, a cakewalk, if you will. But
Got it.
But if you believe in something, if you have the drive, you have the dedication, you can make anything happen, anything and everything
Right.
happen.
Never give up.
Yes.
Never give up.
So,
So a little bit of our backstory. We started when we were 11, as she said. And when we first started, it was a really small, very small project. We would do cupcakes. Our main focus was cupcakes, but we would do it from a box mix. So we would just pour it in the mix and then add the eggs and the water and the oil. But as we developed and as we grew, we wanted to do our own recipes. So we started developing our own recipe. We would test at different amounts of flour and different amounts of sugar to see how it would impact the taste and the texture. And we've grown from just a little thing, doing box mixes, to developing our own recipes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So can't nobody steal your recipe because they're your own special recipe. And I have had the pleasure of eating a few of your cupcakes that you brought to the YSPU, the ones that was delicious.
thank you.
Delicious.
Yeah, so like as she said, we started doing cupcakes, but over the years we've grown to do more things. So we now do like cookies, cake pops, brownies. We actually just did our first wedding cake 2 months ago.
Nice.
Yeah, so we were able to grow and do our own wedding cake, you know.
So are you getting orders from people?
Yeah, so people are able to order from us, and we're even able to, believe it or not, give back to our community. So we just had a sale and for Valentine's Day, and 100% of the proceeds went to benefit the class of 2019 at our school, Windsor High School.
Nice.
And last year we also partnered with the Windsor Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, okay. That's really good.
Yeah, and we did a 3-month cupcake subscription in which all the proceeds went to benefit the CTE, Career Technical Education classes at our school, and help better them and fund them better. So we like to definitely give back to the community that raised us and brought us up and promoted our business and everything. So we like to definitely give back in any way we can.
What support system did you have when doing this? Because y'all was 11 years old.
Yep. So
who came up with the idea first? I mean, because y'all twins.
you like to say
I think
so who actually said it first?
I like
She
to
likes to
think
say
that it was my idea.
Okay.
But our main support was our parents. They rallied behind us and they stood behind us. When we presented the idea of starting a business, they were 100% behind us. So they would drive us to places to get ingredients. They would drive us to deliver orders to people, and they'd be there behind us every step of the way.
Okay. So, like your mom.
Yeah.
Did you have anybody supporting you? I know you had the school community supporting
Yeah,
you.
I did.
But I'm talking about like at home, you know?
Yeah, it was definitely my dad. Actually, both my parents. They when I first presented the idea to them, they're definitely on it. But my dad was the one that actually he was like, yeah, you should order the paints. Like he was the one that was
He encouraged you to go ahead and do
basically. So was my mom too. My mom was like a major key as well. She always give her opinions on the shoes.
Right.
Like I always go to her for opinions. Like I was like, hey, does this look good enough, or should I add this? Should I add that? She'd tell me exactly what to do, and she would come out just as good because of her help.
It's important being a parent. Help steer your kids in the right way. Also help support their dreams, and help them to succeed. Or if they fail, help them get up and try again. Encourage them to try again.
Yeah.
So it's really good to know that y'all all have had parents to really help you, and you also had outside people in the community to also help you. They believed in you, they helped you, and they supported you. I just want you to stand up and show your sneakers, because isn't that one of the pairs that you designed?
So I like, is it gonna zoom in? Okay, I'm just,
Can't hear you.
So this is actually one of the off-white themes. Usually there's like different pairs from like the Air Jordan 1, the Air Jordan, just Air Jordan 1s. And this pair was inspired by which one looks like this? I think it was the Vapor Max, one of the Nike models. I always liked the colors of it. It was just regular black and white, and then they have like that color to pop out, which is like the neon orange and the neon green. Another cool thing was a zip tie. Like on all the off-whites, they always had the little zip tie on them.
Okay.
So I thought like it was cool to bring it out.
Okay. So can you tell us some of the flavors of the cupcakes that you make?
Yeah, so typically we do anything the customer wants, but we do have like a base list, and people can, give their input or customize. We are really big on customization. So
I think I had one that was called the hummingbird.
hummingbird. Yeah, that's one of our
That was our
signature flavors.
That was our best-selling flavor in 2018.
Yeah.
Well, that was my best flavor at the YSP. That's all I can say.
Sure, me too.
I don't know which one you
No,
had,
that was
but it was
mine.
good. I'm sorry, Donovan. You had one the following
need
year, so
one.
you didn't have the opportunity to have one.
Yeah, but basically the hummingbird cupcake is like a banana. It has pineapple in it, and then it can be made with or without walnuts, but because there's so many nut allergies, we try to kind of steer clear from that. And then it's like topped with like a cream cheese frosting and then like toasted coconut on top. It's really good. It's like a tropical.
Yeah,
Like,
Phil.
yeah,
It is. It's
great.
really
But we
good.
have-
And I found some of the names to be very interesting, like strawberry lemonade.
Yeah.
Luscious Lemon
We have
is one
Luscious
of our
Lemon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how many flavors you have now? I'm trying to think. Like, are you like Friendly's ice cream or Baskin Robbins? We got 21 flavors now.
We have probably over like 50, 60 flavors.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we also are open to customization. So if you want like a specific cake with like a different kind of frosting or a different kind of filling, like we can accommodate different types of orders and things like that.
Very nice. Now, just so I just want to know, are you on Facebook? Are you on Instagram? Are you on Twitter? I mean,
Yeah.
what social media platform do you associate with?
Right, so we have our own website. It's called twinsbakery73.com. We also are on Facebook and on Instagram, which are just twinsbakery73.
Okay. Now, how can people see your great work? I know you on Facebook, so
Definitely Racina Reynolds all over her Facebook, which is essentially my Facebook.
right.
But my Instagram is _InspirationX.
Okay. And Mr. Donovan?
So I have Twitter, Facebook,
Oh, you just have them all. Forget it.
and
All the platforms.
Instagram, and there's another one, MySpace. No.
No. I'm about to say, that's not still around, is it?
No. Instagram is Dorsey _customs and another underscore, because I had 2 accounts actually. I forgot the password on the first one.
Okay.
But the second one's definitely great now.
Right.
My Instagram is regular Dorsey Customs, and on Twitter is super_man01, where I post all my. It's kind of like a personal page, but I post all my customs on it.
Right. So, with your nonprofit business, do you do a lot of speaking engagements?
Definitely. I'm definitely a motivational speaker. As I told you, the Aurora Foundation, I actually did a speaking engagement for them. I'm doing another one that's coming up soon about women empowerment and women in education, and we're just going to talk about that. I also speak, what should I speak at? The YMCA, definitely. I do a lot with my own organization, so if just people want me to come out and speak about, especially women empowerment, I'm all about women running the world.
You mentioned something about a lawyer. What is it that you want to go, because you're going to be graduating, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So what is it that you're actually going to seek for your degree?
For my degree, I'm going to go into a 3+3 program, and I'm going to be studying legal studies and child psychology. And if it's not child psychology, I'm definitely going to do entrepreneurial major as well, because of my own, my own organization. We are a nonprofit, so definitely gonna major something in like analytics or like business and marketing, something like that, and hopefully attending Roger Williams University.
Okay.
And I definitely just want to be a lawyer so that we can change a lot of things that are going on in politics right now. 45 is not doing what he needs to do, and we definitely need a lot of strong women in office right now. And we do have Johanna Hayes. Shout out to her.
Yes,
She's the
shout
first
out to Johanna
African
Hayes.
American woman in Connecticut to be on the congressional seating. And in Connecticut, she's the first African American woman to do that.
Very
and
proud of her.
shout out to her. But definitely, I want to essentially follow in her footsteps and become the first African American woman to do something and to change barriers, especially as a lawyer, as a politician, as a humanitarian, as an activist, essentially. Fighting for not just African Americans, but
just injustice.
minorities, just
Yes.
fighting the injustice system. I don't like to call it the justice system. We call it the injustice
Yes.
system. But yeah, that's the essential. And definitely with kids, because we need to nip it in the bud when we're kids. Because, you know, if we don't nip it in the bud when they're kids, then they're going to become, you know, adults that have no clue what to do.
Right, we have to start young, and that's why you're here, you know, and
That's why
hopefully,
we're all here.
yeah, that's
Just
hopefully
better.
some young
Yeah.
student or child or teen is watching. Maybe they thought about doing something, but really just don't know how to, you know,
How to do
or
it.
don't have the support, because not every child has the support that they need at home or in a community. So they may be, you know, in a fog trying to figure out what it is, or don't even know what it is that they're good at, but I'm sure they're good at something, because everybody's good at something.
Yeah. And I think this is very important because, you know, we have different platforms sitting here right now. You know,
Right.
you have somebody who is, you know, a motivational speaker, but then you have young women who are entrepreneurs, you know, baking, like that's your own platform. And then
Yes.
you have a young man who's, you know, creating sneakers, that's your own platform. You know, so I think that's very important that there's so many different things that you can do. It's not just one thing,
Right.
which I think is very important. And I hope that kids seeing this or anybody who's seeing this just knows that, you know, coming from I shall not be afraid, like not to be afraid to do what you're doing. And as Miriam said earlier, like you can do it. Nothing's holding you back. The only thing that's really holding you back is you.
You.
That is true. So, do y'all graduate this year as well?
Yes.
Okay, so what do you plan on doing for 2019 graduation?
We want to have a party, but after
Can I be invited, please? Thank you. I'm never too old to
open
party.
invite, yes. So for college, I'm thinking of studying business to follow in the foundation that we already created.
Right.
And something with engineering, because these days people want anything under the sun for their cakes. They want moving cakes, they want flying cakes. They
Oh
want
Lord, you
things.
actually gonna produce all that?
I
Moving
hope to.
cake, flying
Hope
cakes?
to. It's our goal.
Invisible cakes.
Yeah. That's what the future is moving towards. So why not? So get on
Wow.
it now and just.
That's kind of scary if it's moving like that. I can't imagine that. But it would be very innovative. So,
Yeah, I also want to study engineering. I was actually part of the STEM, like the Women in STEM.
Yes.
We did a program. We partnered with Earth Echo, and part of like the YWLC, the Young Women's Leadership Corps group that I'm in, that we're actually both a part of. We were able to go on like virtual field trips, and like we had different women come in, well, virtually. We were talking to them via a screen.
Right.
But we were able to like hear their experiences and learn about like women in like STEM careers. And before that, I didn't really have an interest in like engineering. I'm just
No.
like, boys do that, you know, kind of
right,
thing.
right.
But after like seeing all these women, and then I went on a tour of Pratt and Whitney, and they were like the jet engines, and it was all facilitated by women. I'm like, wow, women are doing all of these amazing things that we take for granted. Like you hop on a plane, you don't even think about like all the parts that go into it that make it so that you can travel wherever you want to travel.
Right.
So I
We
was,
do it all.
yeah,
we do.
female is the future. I'm telling you guys, female is the future. I'm sorry, but female is the future. We are the future. We are today, we are tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, I think it's amazing. First of all, you was introduced to something that you had no idea about, and that you discovered that it may be something that you want to pursue. Because STEM is a big thing now that they're pushing throughout all educational system, because, and especially with girls, because you need women in those fields, because it has been mostly a male-dominated field. But women are doing more and more and more incredible things when it comes to STEM and engineering and so on. So I applaud you for that. Now, Donovan, I know you have had the opportunity to actually do speaking engagements too, haven't you?
In a way. Let's see. The
I
first-
think I saw a thing where you went back into the elementary schools or middle schools
okay,
and
yeah.
talked to the
actually,
kids about.
Another mentor of mine, Mr. Bodie. He really brought me. He was another inspiration in my life. Where like he really like told me like so many just inspirational things that really molded me to who I am today as well.
Right.
So he actually reached out to me, was like, hey, I have a group of kids here that would like to hear your story and like would like love to be motivated. I was like, all right, I'll do it as soon as possible. So I was actually went out there and I forgot what middle school it was. It was Roosevelt?
De Loretto.
De Loretto.
I remember it. I do my research.
Yeah, it was De Loretto. So the first time I went there twice. The first time I went, I was in a classroom setting. I actually had a whole presentation with all my shoes. I actually brought pairs for all the kids to look at. Told them my story. Most of them were definitely inspired. Like those, I told them that if they want to, go to high school and do great things, then you need to like find it within yourself to when someone like tries to push you down, you need to find it within yourself to pick yourself back up and build yourself to just be great, basically. So then, once I gave that speech, I just know like a few kids they were like definitely moved by that.
Right.
And so then following that, it was actually that was in I think October somewhere around that time, and then like in December, I did actually a toy drive where there was the same person, Mr. Bode, he reached out to me. Of course, I was on board. We was doing the kids in Puerto Rico at the time that were affected by the hurricane. We actually did a toy drive to drop off all the gifts that were donated to all the kids all around New Britain, so we could give them a Christmas, giving them some gifts as well.
That was awesome.
Yeah, I love doing that. That was fun. Seeing all actually, I went back to my old elementary school and I seen all the teachers, and it felt good. So then after that.
Yeah, usually when you're doing good, inspiring things and you're helping others, and it's not about self, it's about giving others, you usually do feel very good. So that's great that you're actually experiencing. It's relating to one another.
Yeah. So then the second time I went was actually recently, a few months ago, this October actually. I went again, and same thing. Actually, this time I was actually customizing a pair of shoes in front of the students.
Oh, so they got to actually see how it's
how I
actually
do
done.
it. So then I got an idea from one of the kids. It was like, oh, doing the galaxy themes, and then I was just doing it right in front of them. And it was two pairs, but one of them I didn't have time to get the chance to get to it.
Yeah.
So then it was actually donated. When I finished painting them, it was just donated to whoever was that size. But how they got it, it was like some chart where if they behave or they get the right amount of grades and stuff, it was given to the best. So they use that as motivation to be a better student.
Now, with your shoes, I also am a motivator speaker, and I also do workshop and presentations with girls group as well as boys group. But one of the presentations and workshops I do is called branding. And so I usually give out a piece of paper that has like a print of a sneaker, different kind of sneakers, a cell phone cover, a t-shirt, a hat. And I give it to the kids with art pencils and the color pencils and crayons, markers, or whatever. And I tell them, custom design your own hat, your own sneakers, your own cell phone cover. Because I'm trying to teach them about branding. Because what you do on there is a brand for yourself. So I try to relate it like Nike's a brand, basically related to them. If this is who you say you are, then you are your walking brand. So I do a workshop on that. So I can relate to the sneakers part because I do a workshop on there. Every time I think about cupcakes, I think recently there's a commercial on TV where there's two professional football players.
Yeah, I love that. I love them.
I get tickled and I laugh every single time. I'm like, huh? And they're all in pink too, and they got like
friends and everything.
They got their own cupcake business. So they're the professional football players, but then they also open up their own cupcake business. And I want to know, I wonder, like, do they have girls for kids? Like, was that their inspiration? What made them pick cupcakes? And that commercial is just, it tickles me. I love it. I think it's so cute. And I think of y'all when it comes to the cupcakes. So I just want to ask, and anybody can chime in, no direct question. What advice would you really give a child or another person in trying to go after their dreams
say dive in head first. Head first, honestly. One of my dreams was actually to be in the NFL. Oh, but
Oh, and then you would open up the sneaker business, right?
yeah, so I have both at the same time. But
Diversified.
yeah, so actually, it was, oh my gosh. All right, let me start. It's freshman year of high school. I was like, it was my first year of football. So then I wasn't so good, but I was like, obviously like a average athlete at the time. And I just wasn't good at all. So then my last high school game, I actually was supposed to go in for my position, but actually another player went in. So then I was like, dang, like that could have been my chance. The coach didn't put me in. So then I used that as my motivation. Like, I didn't look to anyone to pursue that NFL dream. I like took all the proper steps. Like, I reached out to some other coaches to see if I could get training, and I'd wake up at like 4 o'clock in the morning, just go on like 2-mile runs. I'd like spend hours in the gym constantly working out, and like that what he did that coach, it really like motivated me to just better myself. So he wasn't gonna stop me from pursuing my dream. So every day, it was like 6-7 days a week. Actually, I had to be working out. I wouldn't even give myself a break, where I was so focused on pursuing my dream to that NFL player, where like essentially it really bettered me as a person, and just making me feel better, as in like I'm getting closer to like my dreams basically. So each year I just improved and improved with like my athletic ability, getting faster, getting stronger. So that really didn't stop me from my dream. Like still right now, like I still have that dream, even if it's not the NFL. It's either like or that new league that they just created, the AAF, or either overseas or Canada CFL, Canada League. So some type of major football career, I definitely would want. So
Okay, so you would say that's your passion.
Yeah.
Because I'm big into discovering and figuring out what is your passion. And to be honest, some people know it. They know it when they're very young, and they grow up doing the things that's their passion. But then there's other people that may not know what their passion is. It is in them. They just haven't discovered it yet, and it may, be different things in life as they grow older that will help bring that knowledge of what their passion is, and then they finally discover, this is what I really love to do, So what about you, Justina?
I think my advice that I would like give to a youth is don't be afraid to make mistakes, and don't be afraid to fail, because you're not going to get it on the first time.
Nope.
Definitely.
Failure is a step.
You're not going to say that, I'm going to run 10 minutes straight. Most of the time, you're only going to run like 5. You know what I mean? So it's not okay. I mean, it is okay to say, I didn't go the full time, but next time I will. So I guess piggybacking off of not being afraid to fail, like be determined, like continue to be determined. Don't be afraid to fail, because when you fail, then you get frustrated, but be determined to overcome that struggle or overcome that obstacle. Like you have to be determined, because if you're not determined, you're not focused, it's not going to get done.
That sounds like me and my diet.
But
I am determined to lose weight, so.
I was going to piggyback off of what you said. Like, failure is a stepping stone to greatness. Every great athlete, every great musician, every great baker has failed.
Has burned cakes.
Numerous times, and you have to
I
fail
burnt
to
quite a bit
succeed.
myself.
I
Yeah.
actually messed up on a pair of shoes.
Yeah. But my advice would be to never let someone else's fears dictate your future, dictate your drive, because regardless of what you do in life, there will be naysayers, there will be people who will try to tell you you won't succeed or
Those are haters.
criticize you.
Yeah.
But you have to believe in yourself, and you have to know that what you're capable of. Don't let someone who doesn't know anything about your work ethic, about your ability, tell you what you can or cannot do.
Right.
Oh, me.
No, Sarah, you.
My best advice would be to just persevere. Just keep on going, no matter what obstacles come before you. Just keep on going, and keep going until you get there.
Okay. And I would just honestly say I agree with everything that y'all said, but I would like teens, period, because I know that's a very difficult age. And teens go through a lot of struggles of just being a teen, just being in school, family life, everything. So there's just so much going on that we do have a lot of teens, unfortunately, that don't believe in themselves, don't have confidence in themselves. I just want them to look themselves in the mirror and ask themselves a question: who am I? You know, and really think about who they are. You know, and then start trying to be the person that they are destined to be. You know, and again, with all y'all advice, I agree. It takes steps, baby steps, but eventually you will get to where you need to go.
Yeah.
So if I had to say, in 10 years from now, where do you see yourself, Justina?
I definitely see myself as a lawyer, but I definitely see myself helping a politician, because it's like you just said, like stepping stones. Like I can't come out of, I'm not saying I can't, but it's unrealistic, going in politics to come out and be a Congress, to come out and be a mayor. So I definitely see myself backing somebody's campaign, being the forefront of the fight. I definitely see myself passing bills to better the injustice system. I definitely see myself stronger, confident, definitely way more outgoing than I am now. I definitely see myself on billboards.
Outgoing? Your schedule is very busy. You're talking about way more?
Well, even more
You're going to be
packed.
like the Energized Bunny.
But there's so much to be done, and there's so much to be accomplished.
It is a lot to be done in this world.
I'd rather be like packed and busy than sitting in my bed and not doing anything.
Right.
So, but I definitely still see myself on billboards.
Okay, speak it into existence.
Girl, look, on billboards. Definitely on the forefront of fighting injustice, because I don't think there's enough, me personally, a lot of youth fighting towards injustice. I mean, we see a few like Yashara Shahidi, I don't know how to pronounce her name, but I know she's doing a lot. Amanda Steinberg. There's a lot of young African American women doing a lot of things, but there's not a lot of media covering it. You know what I mean? So I definitely want to be that face for a lot of women, not just in the world, but definitely in Connecticut, because I feel like a lot of young women in Connecticut don't have a platform and don't have a voice. So I definitely want to be that voice and give that platform for a lot of young women in Connecticut.
I agree, and that's one of the reasons why I created the Trendy Teen Talk Show, because a lot of times people don't think teens have anything positive or anything to say, and you do.
Yeah, especially African American.
And you really do. So I created this show exactly for the very same reason, giving you a platform and giving you a voice, and talking about things that's very real to you. So where was you going to be in 10 years on that football team? What team is that again?
Well, any football team, honestly, whoever gives me the opportunity. So honestly, 10 years, I see myself like drinking out a coconut and on like a beach or something, just relaxing.
Retired already at 10 years from now?
You're gonna be 29, just chilling. Say, I'm kidding.
Actually, I don't know, honestly. Well, I really want to be, like, if I'm still playing football at like 29 years old, I'd love that.
Is that considered too old in football?
Kind of.
Ish.
It kind of ish, but not really.
Okay.
But it's still kind of like old. But either that or I would have my sneaker like storefront already, where I grow it so big where like I can actually have like a huge social media platform and do like charity events, or like have a bunch of clothing, or I could actually open up my own clothing line.
What would be nice if you
other...
get some celebrities to rock your stuff.
Ooh.
Celebrity endorsement.
Exactly.
Email them.
Yeah, actually,
Did I just give you an idea?
10%.
I reached out to some huge names on Instagram. Actually, one of them to reach out to me was this guy named The Lost Breed. It's like a workout brand. Not a brand, but like two dudes that they're in Connecticut as well. They have like 500,000 followers on Instagram.
Wow.
Reached out to me, I was like, hey, I heard you do like good work. I want a pair of shoes done. And as soon as I gave him the shoes and he shouted me out, boom, just had a whole bunch of followers from there. So that's just only one person. So if I get more like celebrities I do pairs for
Celebrities or just people that's in the community that has the platform to get your stuff out.
Yeah.
So you do got to reach out and do some research for one, and do some serious marketing of your brand for two.
Yeah, make connections. That's another good
Yeah,
advice.
making connections.
Make connections.
Do you
Networking.
go out to, is there events where you can go out and meet people and do
there's,
networking type of
There's
things?
Sneaker Con, where they have a whole bunch of sneaker conventions around either New York, like the big cities like
And have you
Miami,
gone to
Houston.
any of them?
I haven't been to a Sneaker Con, but I've been to like other sneaker events around Connecticut. Like there was one in Hartford I went to. There was one in I think New London I went to.
Okay.
So those I always like get my name out there. Like,
Okay, so now it's time to like broaden your horizon. New York is just the next state line
Yeah.
over. Get yourself in New York. Make some connections.
yeah,
Make some connections.
I'm definitely looking forward to that. And
You
actually,
know
I was
I'm
looking
pushing
forward
you to go, right?
Yeah. So I'm actually thinking about going to like the top sneaker cons, like the ones in either Houston or like Tampa Bay or like all those like big cities, Dallas. I want to go to those sneaker cons.
So, your business, is it already established? Like hers is a nonprofit. Are you for profit? Of course you're for profit, but do you have it registered as a business yet?
I don't.
Okay. So once you do that and legitimize your business, all that travel is write off for your
Another
business.
thing, I haven't taken it full time yet. Like every time I do it, it's always like a part time, and I'm just like amazed to see how it grew from just like me. Like some hours I just work on shoes and then post it, boom, blows up.
Yeah, I know my daughter's
So-
like bugging me about you designing sneakers for her.
Yeah.
I
so-
think when we got out the car, she's like, "Oh, you still gonna design sneakers?"
Yeah.
So,
Actually, it was like I could only imagine what I could do with it if I take it full time. Or if I just actually just pay attention, just work on shoes like my whole day.
wow. So, I think you have recently had some other honors that you was awarded, right?
Yes, ma'am.
What were some of the things that you was honored for and awarded for your business and the things that you do?
Okay. Yeah, give me a second.
Guys, there's a lot, right?
So I just went to Brooklyn and I was awarded, I really cannot think of the organization right now, but we talked a lot about definitely women empowerment. So I was awarded a citation from the Seal of Brooklyn.
Nice.
So that was one of
That
my
is,
recent
let's
ones.
make that correct. Because there is a Brooklyn, Connecticut, but are you talking about
Oh,
Brooklyn, New York?
Brooklyn, New York, not Brooklyn, Connecticut.
Yeah, Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn, New York. Another recent one that I just received was from the Aurora Foundation, just being a young woman philanthropist and mentoring other young women.
Yes.
I also got citations from the mayor, who else? Ned Lamont, and it was pretty much saying that, I shall not be afraid has been doing a lot in the Hartford area.
Very good. I know last year you was also the guest speaker for the NAACP.
Yes, I was.
So tell me about that. You excited about that one?
I'm all about Black power and supporting, young Black men and young Black women. I'm all about sisterhood and brotherhood. So I talked about just being a Black woman. Like, it's one thing to be a woman, but it's definitely another thing to be an African American woman.
Or minority, period.
A minority in general. I recently actually just came from Bryant University, and there was a young lady who spoke about, women in technology, and she pretty much answered the question of, it's one thing, do you think it's harder for African American women to survive in a male-dominant workforce? And the question was, do you think it's harder for African American women? And the lady didn't really know how to respond because, you can't really relate to an African American issue if you're not really African American.
Right, okay.
So I stood up and I told them, you see my gender first, you see that I'm a female, and it's like, whoa, you're already taken back. But then you're also taken back at the fact that I'm Black. or I'm a minority, or, you know, I associate with a different religion than you do. I'm not I'm not Christian, you know, like my religion is different. So I definitely spoke a lot about at the NAACP about just being a black woman in general, being a shade darker than darker than white.
Right.
So, and I also talked about community. Like, we need to have a stronger community, not just as black men and black women, but we need a stronger community as black women. You know, we shouldn't be shaming each other. We shouldn't be putting each other down. So I said that, you know, the NAACP, they stood for that. You know, when Martin Luther King was doing what he was doing, he stood for, you know, women supporting each other. He stood for,
Right.
You know, everybody supporting everybody. Even if you're white, you know, just coming together and focusing on peace and equality as one, not shunning everybody out. So
Right.
I think that's very important. And I think what you guys are doing is important as well. You know, I don't think it's just baking, but it's also the image of it.
Right.
You know what I mean? You guys have this image of, you know, we're not just black, but we're Muslim, and we're doing what you said I couldn't do,
Exactly.
but I'm doing it with
Taking back
with
the power.
elegance. I'm doing it with
And pride.
with
And
pride.
honor.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's amazing. So I do know that y'all have also done some things recently too, right?
Yeah, so last year we were invited by a teacher in the Windsor Public School system. Her name is Shannon Brown, and she invited us I met her through a program that I was doing, and she invited us to come to her school and talk to her fourth graders about entrepreneurship and our business. So we made cupcakes for them, and we brought them in.
I bet they loved it
They
too,
loved
right?
it, yeah, and we talked to them about how to start a business and what entrepreneurship is, and the foundation and what it took. And we told them, like, it's going to be hard. You're going to struggle, but the end result is so worth it to see the outcome and the payback, and what you get from it is just the feeling of people telling you that was the most delicious cupcake I've ever had, or just the experience is just
Right.
in and of itself is just a beautiful thing.
Right.
And
Yes, Miriam.
just doing what people said you could never
Yeah.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just taking back that power, you know. Yeah.
And showcasing it. I mean, not to be, what's the word I'm trying to look for? Not to be arrogant or
Right.
think that, you know, snuffy, like I'm better than you. But
Yeah.
no, like matter of fact, I am going to take it back, and I am going to showcase it, and I am going to show you that, you know, I'm doing something you didn't say I could do. Like,
And
well.
I'm confident. That's what the word is,
There's
confident.
a difference
Confident.
between pride and proud. So
Right.
this is us being proud of something that we started from the bottom, and now we're here. You know,
Right.
so like something that we built up from the ground. People said, look down on us, like you won't make it, you'll fail. You know, just being able to show that yes, I can do it, and I will do anything. I can do, and will do anything and everything I set my mind to. Is just a very important thing that I think everyone should know.
Another
Right.
thing to piggyback off of that, like, thing that's from starting from the bottom, like,
Yeah.
that's really like when you look back to see where you started and see
Right.
where you're at now, it's
growth
like
is just
huge.
amazing.
Like when I first started, my repaints are like custom, or like I always started off restoring sneakers. So when I started off restoring sneakers, they still wouldn't come out as good.
Right.
And then over time, like perfecting my craft to now where I come, like now today, where I'm confident enough to say like I'm really like one of the best in like doing what I'm doing.
In Connecticut.
Yeah,
Yes.
in
There you
Connecticut,
go.
like,
There
You
you
did
go.
that.
There you go. Well, I'm just amazed at what you're doing, and I'm so inspired, and I hope this show has inspired our viewers to want to do and look into who you are and see some of the things, and encourage some kids to step out of their pocket to do it as well. You know, it's very important, and I think you saying what you're saying has helped a lot of people once they see it. And keep doing what you're doing, because you're doing a great thing. And I hope from 10 years from now, y'all all millionaires.
Yes.
And I hope you invite me to your house, to your gatherings, and always remember me, because I will always remember you.
Thank you.
And basically, thank you for being on the show tonight.
Yeah,
You know,
thank
it's been
you
a
for giving us a platform to speak and actually share what we do with other people, so we can hopefully inspire before we expire.
right. So with that being said, I would like to say this is the end of the Trendy Teen Talk Show, and you know, I'm going to be following y'all in the future. So thank you again for appearing on the show. Thank you.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
My pleasure.